enjoyed the discussion from the private sector companies represented on the stage. And perhaps I can give you a little bit of a story on how fast things can change. When I was working with GlaxoSmithKline in the year 2000, GlaxoSmithKline was one of a few companies who joined a lawsuit that sued the government of South Africa and Nelson Mandela personally for the control of the pricing of HIV medicines. Now, of course, I have been an academic for many years before joining the pharmaceutical industry, and I was horrified when this happened. I asked myself how I could work for a company that made medicines, but was not willing to have those medicines be shared by people who needed them the most. So, at the time, I was very embarrassed, but I was on the board of directors, and I was able to influence the company to invest in setting up a laboratory that made medicines for malaria and tuberculosis with no expectation of profit generation from these laboratories. That was the beginning of a transformation at GlaxoSmithKline. Now, looking ahead 10 years, there is an organization that puts out every year an access to medicines report. It grades the top 5 pharmaceutical companies in the world and ranks them in order of their commitment to providing their products and medicines and vaccines to supporting the poorest people in the world. GlaxoSmithKline has been #1 for the past 4 years. So this demonstrates that a company can start from the very bottom and transform itself in just a few years. It requires a commitment by the leadership of the company. It requires a commitment of the people who work with it. Now, by coincidence, and I don't think it's only a coincidence, of all the pharmaceutical companies in the world, the company that is most successful in what are known as the emerging markets, or the markets in the developing world, GlaxoSmithKline is also #1. And in the pharmaceutical industry, the fastest growing markets in the world are in the emerging markets. So this is an example in which a corporation that could start at the very bottom can become the very top by doing the right thing. And also, doing the right thing was the right business decision in terms of its success in the fastest growing market in the pharmaceutical industry. I believe that corporations of all kinds, whether they are in the healthcare business or any other kind of business, have a compact with society. Society allows those businesses to be successful and to create value, but only if those companies can understand the responsibility to give back to society in a most meaningful way. What you heard today are some companies who have that commitment or are just experimenting. Unfortunately, right now, the Japanese pharmaceutical companies are at the bottom of the list of pharmaceutical companies when it comes to access to medicine. I think that will change. I believe it will can change very quickly. But it is something that requires commitment of the leadership and of the people who work in those companies. I think this meeting today was especially meaningful to me because I have worked in the private sector and in the public sector, and I have seen how the two sectors are symbiotic. They depend on each other for success, and success is defined in equality. Equality for all people to have